everyone, Christine here. Today I'm going to be editing this portrait in Lightroom. This photo was taken using natural light. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and like always, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. This video is going to show you some basics to using Lightroom and editing your portraits. Lightroom is a non-destructive editing program. You're able to make changes to your images using lighting adjustments without changing the original image. Lightroom lets you organize, post-process, print, and share your images all in one place. First, you want to upload your image into Lightroom. When you have selected the picture that you want to edit, click Develop right here at the top right of the screen to switch it to Develop mode. Once you have done that, you can start editing in Lightroom. There are a lot of different tools in Lightroom, so don't get overwhelmed. And my method may not be the best or the easiest, but it works for my routine when I'm editing images. Again, I just started doing photography this year, January of 2019, so I'm doing this as more of a beginner's guide. The first thing I always do is crop my image. You will click this box here and choose your settings. I normally crop my images to a 5:7 since most of the time the photos are being posted on social media and a 5:7 is sufficient. I will also bring the crop down, and then when you're all set, you go ahead and hit done. Next, I'll scroll to the bottom of here on the tools, and I'll go to lens correction. I'll check off the boxes, remove chromatic aberration, and enable profile corrections. And then you can go ahead and minimize it right there with that arrow. Also, a new thing that I found is this right here. Now, right now selected is Adobe Color. If you click on it and hit Browse, you can actually see different types of settings, and then if you put your mouse over it, you can kind of see what it does to the pictures. I tend to do this first before I go ahead and do any of my other adjustments. And you can kind of go ahead and pick whichever ones you like and get whatever style you prefer. But I am going to use portrait. So when you have selected it, go up, hit close, and now we are ready. Now I'm going to start off at the top and then work my way down, and this is what I do for every image. You can also try using the white balance tool. It's more than your choice. If you do want to use it, you go ahead and click it. And then you go somewhere on the image and you want to choose either a white or a gray. So this looks kind of gray, so I'll click it here. It's not terrible, but I think I'm going to do my own editing and do it manually. So if you don't like what you did and you want to undo it, for a Mac, you hit Command Z. I prefer my images to be bright and full of color. So for this image, I'm going to increase my exposure and see what I like. And again, you can toggle back and forth and see what you like. I think I like it about there. Next, I'm going to bump up my contrast just a little bit to about +16. And then I'm going to go to highlights and see what I like here. I think +1 will be sufficient enough. Again, if you're ever unsure what the actual option does, feel free to drag the sliders back and forth and see what it does to the image. Everything is relative to what you like and your personal style. Next, I tend to increase the shadows. So let's do about +14. I usually bump up the whites just a little bit, and then I bring down the blacks, which if you see, it kind of darkens the image a little bit, like a contrast. And I'm going to bring that down to -8. I also am going to bump up the clarity, and I usually bump up the vibrance a couple points. I usually skip the tone curve, and then I go right to the color. So again, if you hit it, it minimizes. If you want to open it, you hit this arrow here. I usually start at saturation. So you go ahead and play with it again, bring the sliders back and forth, and you can see what this actually does. I prefer it to be a little bit more red in her lips, so I'm going to do +32. And then I'm going to do +11 so her makeup isn't so bright. For saturation and orange, I normally decrease the saturation so that it takes some of that orangey tone from the skin. I don't think I'm going to touch the luminance. You can see what it does. I think I'm just going to leave it at +3. Again, yellow, I'll go right to the saturation and kind of play with it. And I actually really like this silvery tone. I'm actually going to drag it down all the way. I'm going to bring it to about +10. Same thing with the saturation of the green. You go back and forth and see what you like. If you like the trees, see how it changes that. I do kind of like the silvery look for this photo, so I'm going to do -24. And then +21 there. Aqua, you can see it doesn't do anything, so make sure if you don't like it and it doesn't do anything, make sure the options are 0. Blue, her dress is blue, so you can kind of play with her dress. And I'd like her dress to be a little bit brighter and bolder, so I'm going to put +18. And then to darken it a little bit, I'm going to do -4. Purple doesn't do anything, so again, I'm going to put this to 0. And the magenta doesn't do anything, so I'm going to make sure I put that back to 0. I think I really like this image the way it is, so I'm going to leave it this way. So right now I'm finished with this image. And when you are finished, you're able to export, which basically means save the image to your desktop. Or once you're done, you can also right-click the image if you want to edit it in Photoshop. So in order to export this image, you want to go to File, and then hit Export. And then of course, you'll go over here, you want it to go to the desktop, and then you do want to probably change the quality to 100%. And then when you're ready to export it, you just hit Export. And just like that, you're all set. And let me show you a before and after. This is the before, and this is the after. Thank you again for watching this beginner's tutorial to Lightroom, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Bye everyone!